Going through a spiritual awakening is one of the most confusing, lonely, alienating, but also supremely beautiful experiences in life. Put simply, spiritual awakenings mark the beginning of your initiation on the spiritual path. Without experiencing a spiritual awakening, we go throughout life pursuing the emptiness of money, fame, power, and respect in an attempt to find happiness. The unsettling and equally beautiful thing about spiritual awakenings is that they occur at the least expected times. There is no way you can plan for them. They lurch into your life and shake everything up like tornadoes. But the hidden gift buried deep within them is that they occur at the precise time that you need them the most. Spiritual awakenings are the soul's cry for freedom. Listen to its call and your life will be transformed into something meaningful and significant. Refuse its call and your life will be like a graveyard. If you have experienced a spiritual awakening, you have come to see through the lies and illusions of this world. Deep in your soul, you realize that nothing external has ever, and can ever, bring you true happiness or fulfillment. This profound realization leaves you craving for something richer, more fulfilling, and something that will make you feel whole once again. If you're looking for answers, if you're thirsting for a direction in life, we will try to share with you everything you need to know on this YouTube channel. On this channel, you will find all the possible resources you need for the beginning of your journey, including what spiritual awakening is, common spiritual awakening symptoms, daily spiritual news, knowledge, wisdom and much more. If you feel this page may help a friend or family member close to you, please share it and pass along this vital information. And don't forget to subscribe us. So, what is spiritual awakening? When we undergo a spiritual awakening, we literally wake up to life. We begin to question our old beliefs, habits, and social conditioning, and see that there is much more to life than what we have been taught. It is common to ask questions such as, why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? What happens after death? Why do good people suffer? And other questions that examine the fundamental nature of life during your awakening. Spiritual awakenings stir the deepest and most significant questions within us that we have been putting off asking or have been too scared to touch. If you've experienced a spiritual awakening, you might crave to find the meaning of your life and whether there is a higher state of being. Searching for God, or for the divine, is a common desire during this experience. So, why do spiritual awakenings happen in the first place? Spiritual awakenings happen as a natural product of your soul evolving, expanding, and maturing. Just as everything in life grows, so too does our connection with our souls. The more you connect to your soul, whether accidentally or intentionally, the more you experience transformation. The more you come to embody your soul, the more you taste true and lasting joy, peace, fulfillment, freedom, and love. While the spiritual awakening process can feel painful and disturbing at first, it ultimately helps you to live a more meaningful life. The sensation that your life doesn't make sense anymore is the product of having all of your former beliefs, desires, and paradigms challenged and often disproven. This is traumatic, but a necessary part of your expansion. What triggers the spiritual awakening process? You might be curious to know what activates spiritual awakenings. The answer is that innumerable circumstances can trigger this process. There really is no one answer. Spiritual awakenings can happen at any moment or period in your life. They can be spontaneous, but they can also be triggered by major life changes, tragedies, and traumas such as life-threatening illnesses, car accidents, divorces, midlife crises, war, and much more. Generally speaking, the spiritual awakening process happens in conjunction with an experience known as the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is a period in life when we feel completely cut off from God or the divine. The more aware you become of your disconnection from the divine, the more chances you have of experiencing a dark night of the soul. Going through a dark night of the soul is profoundly entwined with the process of spiritual awakening. Before seeing the light we must walk through the valley of the shadow of death in order to prepare our minds and hearts for the conscious upgrade. 7 Spiritual awakening stages. The spiritual awakening process is complex, multi-layered, and different for everyone. In reality, it cannot be fit into neat categories. However, with that being said, it is helpful to have a kind of map to locate where you're at right now. The following stages are general. They define the overall flow of the spiritual awakening process. Stage 1. Unhappiness, despondency, and feeling lost. In this stage, you experience the aforementioned dark night of the soul. This is a time of confusion, disconnection, alienation, depression, and great unhappiness with life. You are searching for something, but you don't quite know what. There is a great looming emptiness inside of you. This stage either emerges spontaneously or due to a life crisis. Stage 2. Shifting perspectives. You start to perceive reality in a totally different way. In this stage, you start seeing through the lies and delusions propagated by society. You feel unhappy with life, disturbed by the suffering you see and hopeless to the ills of the world. You no longer see life as you once did in your previous state of complacent unawareness. Stage 3. Seeking answers and meaning. There must be a point to all this, right? In this stage, you're asking all the deep questions. You are in search of your life purpose, spiritual destiny, and the meaning of life itself. You will start dabbling in different metaphysical, self-help, and esoteric fields in search for answers and truth. Stage 4. Finding answers and experiencing breakthroughs. After a lot of soul searching, you'll find a few teachers, practices, or belief systems that ease your existential suffering. Beware, a lot of spiritual bypassing can occur in this stage. You will feel a sense of expansion as old patterns dissolve and your true self, soul, begins to emerge. You may have a number of mystical experiences or brief moments of satori, enlightenment, that give you a glimpse into the ultimate nature of reality. This is a time of joy, hope, connection, and awe. Stage 5. Disillusionment and feeling lost again. Life is about movement. With the spiritual awakening process, there is always an ebb and a flow. In this stage, you become bored and tired of your spiritual teachers or practices. You may become disillusioned by the faux spiritual BS out there and crave for something deeper. You may have even experienced long periods of connection with the divine, only to become separated again. This is normal. Understandably, you'll feel disturbed and deeply upset by this experience. Additionally, while you may have experienced many mental, emotional, spiritual breakthroughs, they might feel superficial. You crave for authenticity and for deep spirituality that permeates your life and transforms every part of you. The unhappiness and stagnation you feel will motivate you to go in search for more. Stage 6. Deeper inner work. In this stage, you're not interested in dabbling in feel-good spiritual philosophies or surface practices anymore. The abiding pain you feel inside motivates you to do deep inner work. You may become a serious student of meditation, mindfulness, ritual, inner child work, shadow work, body work, or various other transpersonal philosophies. Stage 7. Integration, expansion and joy. Integration means taking the spiritual lessons you've learned from your inner work and applying them to your daily life. Integration happens both naturally and consciously as a habit in deep spiritual practice. In this stage, you'll experience the most profound and long-lasting changes deep within. Many people experience prolonged mystical experiences and periods of unity with the divine in the integration phase. Remember that enlightenment, or full self-realization, is never guaranteed. We can strive for it, but it is ultimately a gift from life. Nevertheless, profound peace, love, and joy emerge and are felt in this stage. You may feel ready to be a spiritual mentor or role model in your community and pass on your insight to others. Life will become less about you and more about we. Your perspective will expand and you will start seeing things from the big picture. Above all else, you will feel connected, at peace with yourself, and deeply aligned with life. Note, it is common to move back and forth between these spiritual awakening stages. Remember that this is not a linear process. You cannot just move from A to B to C. This is a complex and messy path, so it's perfectly fine if it doesn't look like what we've described. Your spiritual awakening process is unique to you. But we do hope this analysis has helped, in some way, you to gain your bearings. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for watching. We are inseparable parts of inseparated whole. We're one, you are the future. Please don't forget to support us via like, share, subscribe and write a comment below.